Hi, Magdi. I'd love to ask a question, if it's okay with you.
Yes, hello, Shai.
Hi.
Hey.
I'd like to ask a question, if that's okay with you.
Yes, please.
Okay. First of all, you have explained that the separate self is the belief that I awareness am limited to the body-mind world, or that I awareness am just a person. I understand that. A lot of the non-duality teachers, they talk about the I-me thought as one of the causes of suffering. And I would very much like to know, what do you think about the I thought, or the me thoughts, and if they cause any suffering when things happen?
The thought, the me thought, the I-me thought is not just a passing thought, it's a belief. A belief is a thought that has roots, that the wind blows, but the thought remains. The belief is not just a thought. It's a thought that has disguised itself as a truth. So the belief that I, meaning there's only one I, there's only one I, and I refers to the reality that perceives right now. Awareness, consciousness. So the belief that I, consciousness, is a limited body-mind entity, or depends on the body-mind, or is located within the body-mind, or is born with the body-mind and dies with the body-mind and goes from one body-mind to another body-mind after death. This sort of belief is what we experience as the sense of limitation. Sense of limitation, we experience it as worry and concern and fear. And we experience it also as a sense of lack. Something is missing. Something is missing. So both the sense of lack and the fear of death, or the fear of ending, or fear, are what we refer to as the belief that consciousness is limited and separate. Suffering, yes, you could call that suffering. You could call it misery, unhappiness. So the experience of limitation is that I exist in time and space. I am subject to conditions. I meaning consciousness. I'm a body-mind entity. I'm some sort of entity that is subject to conditions. When the conditions are good, I'm good. When the conditions are bad, I'm bad. When the conditions are disastrous, I'm disastrous. And of course, that there is no peace in that. There is no joy, there is no happiness, there is no beauty in that.
So basically, every time I have an I or me thought, well, let me give an example. Let's say I have this thought goes, oh, I'm depressed. Oh, I'm angry. Oh, why is this happening to me? Every time I get this I thought or me thought, it's basically the belief that I am a separate self, that I, awareness, am a body mind. Basically, every time I have the I me thought, that's what's going on inside.
Yes, the I me thought is an expression or a manifestation or how the belief shows itself, how it appears. But it's not the belief itself. The belief doesn't appear. When you look at when the belief appears, then it's no longer a belief, because then you see it. You see the belief. When you see the belief, say, oh, I believe the earth is flat, and you see it. So, well, that's a belief, you see it. But it doesn't appear, the belief doesn't appear. What appears is, wow, this earth is really flat. If we travel, it appears as a thought. If we travel for 20,000 miles, we'll never get to the end of the, it's just gonna, so, yes, whenever the I thought appears, it is a manifestation of the belief.
So once I clearly stop believing that, then it won't matter if the I or me thoughts come and go,
it will
right?
not arise anymore. Once you see through the belief that the earth is flat, then the thought that that of linearity no longer appears to you, because you've seen through the belief.
So in the meantime, the manifestation of this belief comes in the form of an I or me thought. When I'm saying
it arises both in the I thought, the me thought, like you just described it, but also it arises in the feeling, the feeling that I'm inside the room, I am here, I am a me, I'm a person. The feeling is not verbal. The feeling is cellular, is somatic. The feeling that I am somebody, I'm me, I'm a man, I'm here, I exist as I exist. That feeling is also the way that the belief also manifests in our experience.
I see.
The feeling is deeper, more deeply entrenched, more believable than the thought.
In other words, if the I, me was just a thought without any belief attached to it, then it will just pass through. Can you hear me?
Repeat that. Can you repeat that?
Yeah, sure. Can you hear me okay?
Yes, I do.
Okay. In other words, if the I or me was just a thought, then it would just pass through, just like other thoughts.
Yes, like a bird flies fly through the window.
Right. But because it's accompanied, attached to a belief that I am separate, then it feels sticky.
Until the belief keep generating these thoughts. The belief keeps generating the thought, what's going to happen to me tomorrow? What is my meaning? The belief of that I'm a separate entity bubbles up to the surface in various thoughts.
Yes, I understand.
As you're seeing through the belief, the bubbling of those thoughts rests less and less.
Yes.
You're starting to have doubts. You're starting to say, wait a minute, I refers to the reality that perceives. I am right now. What is it, I right now? When you look at I right now and you see that, I is awareness. And then you explore, well, is this awareness, is it my experience that this awareness is arising out of the brain? Do I have any proof of that? Any experience of that? Yes, there is a thought that says awareness arises out of the brain. Is that thought evidence? Is the thought that says awareness is located in my head, for example? Is that thought evidence? Is this thought an evidence? No. So you start having some doubts. If you contemplate, you look at this question of the reality of awareness, of consciousness, and its locality. Is it local? I mean, what evidence do I have that awareness is local? I mean, yes, there is awareness right now. Is awareness inside this room? I feel it's inside this room. Okay, is a feeling, for example, the feeling, is that evidence? If you feel that there is a dragon outside of your house,
No, it's not. It's not. A feeling is not evidence.
It's not an evidence. So,
No,
so you start. So the belief in that the consciousness is or awareness is limited and is located and is dependent on the body mind. That's some cracks in the belief. There are cracks that start happening in the belief. You see, and you continue to look at this belief, and also you invite yourself to say, wait a minute, okay, I have lived for 30, 40, 50 years with the belief that I am this person. Consciousness is a male body or a female body, is a son, a daughter, a mother, whatever. Fine, I lived with this belief for, now I experiment with living as awareness, not as a person, as this borderless, expanded awareness. So also you start to explore that in living this way, living, seeing the others as yourself, seeing the world as your body, seeing the world as you. And this experimentation has an effect. The effect, you will see whether the effect will be, oh, no, you're on the wrong road. You're on the wrong path. You have to go back to being this man, this person, this brother, this son. You have to, or the effect will be, yeah, we'll see. We will see the effect. There'll be an effect. The effect will be, yes, or it will be, no, return to your old belief, you see. So, yes, so coming back to your question about the I thought. So the I thought is a belief, it's more of a belief. And it is rooted, it arises as a belief. The I thought arises from the belief. I thoughts.
That I awareness am a separate entity, right?
The belief that I awareness, I'm a man, or separate, I mean, body, mind, I'm beginning, I have a beginning, I began in 1970, I'm going to end in 2030, whatever, 2050, I have a house, I own a house, I awareness, I'm a son of some, I'm born, that I awareness in the brain, I awareness, I'm going to transmigrate from another body, from one body to another body when the body dies, blah, blah, blah. That awareness is limited, personal, local, dependent. And then you have your experience of awareness. Awareness is not a concept. Awareness is, we have experience of awareness. Awareness means to be aware. Awareness is awareness and isness. We have experience directly, so we can go to awareness directly. So we can ask awareness. We can ask awareness. Are you located inside a house? You ask awareness. You don't ask memory, or you don't ask thought, or you don't ask your neighbor, or you don't ask the encyclopedia. You ask awareness. How do you ask awareness? Because you are awareness.
Awareness never spoke to me, never told me I'm this, I'm that.
Of course, it speaks to you, but not in a way that is more direct. For example, if you ask yourself, am I aware?
Am I aware? Yes, of course I'm aware.
What?
Yeah, yes, of course I'm aware.
Yes. What told you that?
It came from it. I don't know. I mean, it didn't. I don't think it came from the brain because it was like a knowing that came.
Yes, this answer came to you from the experience of awareness.
Oh. Oh.
If there was no experience of awareness, you couldn't say yes, I'm aware. When you say, am I aware? The answer is yes, I'm aware. So awareness, experience of awareness itself is telling you, yes, of course, yes. When you ask yourself, do I perceive?
Do I perceive?
Do I perceive? Yes.
Of course.
How do you answer, do I perceive?
The answer just came to me. I didn't have to, to go back to memory to think about it.
It comes from awareness. Awareness speaks to you. When you ask, do I perceive the oak tree in the yard? You say, yes, I perceive the oak tree in the yard. You're not asking the oak tree. You're not asking, hello, oak tree. You ask, do I perceive the oak tree in the yard? The answer is yes. It comes from awareness. But the reason why you say awareness doesn't speak to me, because we are used to think in physical, in phenomenal. Like, for example, I understand when my mother speaks to me. I understand when the neighbor speaks to me, because it's phenomenal. But we are so used to just limit our experience to phenomenal, to body-mind, that we overlook the reality of consciousness. We only, via the senses, you don't perceive awareness. Awareness is not blue, not red, not big, not small, not female, not male. So we discard awareness from the senses, from the point of view of the senses, meaning from the point of view of the mind. Awareness is just a concept, a soul, a concept. But that's from the perspective of the instrument, from the perspective of the instrument, of the senses. But from the perspective of awareness, which is the reality of our experience right now, awareness is, it knows it is. It knows it perceives. It knows it is complete freedom. And awareness knows that the body has a limited freedom. You cannot jump 20 feet or 50 feet. You can only jump 10 feet. Awareness knows the limitations of the body-mind. Awareness is the only knowingness. I mean, there's only one knowingness, which is the knowingness that belongs to awareness.
Well, I just did. I'll just finish by saying I did. Can you hear me okay?
Yes, I hear you very okay. Don't worry, it's my ears. Yeah, go ahead.
I just did a little experiment right now in this moment. When I asked awareness, are you limited? And everything got really quiet, like peaceful. But I didn't get an answer, yes, no. Does that make any sense?
Yes, that's okay. It makes sense. So what you're saying is that you don't have any evidence that awareness is limited or that it's not limited, either way.
No.
Okay, so good. Therefore, the belief that I am a body-mind, that I am born, there's no evidence for that. all you need to do is be clear about that. There is no evidence that you are a limited body mind.
Mm.
That's good enough. You don't need to get any evidence that you are not limited, because there is no other reality outside of the reality of awareness that can prove that awareness is limitless. You cannot prove it via an experiment.
Yeah.
It's more of an intuitive, it's more like of an intuitive understanding. But it's okay, you know, we don't need to really go there. It's enough for you to, like you just said, when you ask that question and about is awareness limited, and there was no answer, either yes or no. Therefore, from your direct experience, you have no evidence that awareness is born.
Oh, yeah. Right. Even if I get no answer, I mean, no yes or no, then I have no evidence that awareness is limited. Then.
Right. You have no evidence that awareness is limited, is born, or is local.
Right.
So then you can live from this not knowing, because it's not enough to come to the conclusion, okay, I have no evidence that awareness is limited and mortal. I have no evidence that awareness is born. I have no evidence that awareness is local. But I'm going to continue to live the same old way I've been living, like I am this man. What's the point then? You have to now live, you have to explore living with this not knowing.
Yes. And the way to live it is to constantly remind myself this over and over and over again, and it's being permanently.
If that resonates for you, but I would say that whenever the belief and the feeling arises that something is happening to me,
Yeah.
you are in the wrong model. Because in that moment, you've assumed the me. You've concluded that you, meaning awareness, is a person. You have no evidence for that.
Right.
So whenever that sort of thought arises out of the belief, then you have to sort of take a break and remind yourself that, wait, there is no evidence for that. So if I continue to step, if I follow that thought, follow that feeling, I am like a blind man walking like a blind man walking without a stick. I'm gonna trip and fall and break my arm or break my leg. So it's more about noticing the false sense of I, the false thought and the false feeling. False, I'm saying false because there's no evidence for it.
Right.
Noticing it and having the fortitude, having the temerity, having the tenacity, having the conviction that is not the path to follow. Although your feelings will tell you, oh, they did that to me, they deserve to be punished, they shouldn't do that to me. Although your feelings are trying to push you to continue in the old direction, you have to honor your understanding. Because if you don't honor your understanding, what's its use? So you have to live your understanding, live according to your understanding that there is no evidence that I am immortal body mind. There is no evidence. So the fear, when fear arises, the fear always pertains to me as a body mind, to me as a person, right?
Right, I understand. Thank you so much, Magdi.